Well, I was just at the right time for the government to call everybody over 18 up. I was living in Brisbane at the time, and my call-up came just prior to turning 19. Now, there's no option. The government brought in compulsory training for anybody over 18. But of course, with what was happening in the place, all the 18-year-olds were keen to join at that time. So the call-up made it easier. You didn't have to go home and explain to your parents that you were going to join up because they didn't like the idea. Bang, you just joined up and that was it. They just called you up. I had a letter saying to meet the members of the Army at Roma Street Station at 9 a.m. in the morning. So I just went in there and there was a sergeant and a couple of non-coms who took charge of us and then took us out to Chermside, where we were enlisted. Fortunately, I had done a lot of study in the first aid field beforehand. So I hoped that when I went in, they would continue this. And they did. We started off on the parade ground learning to march, learning to move around by numbers, and was all very, very monotonous. So once we got into the ambulance service, to the 7th Field Ambulance, then things became a bit different. Being a nursing orderly, I was allocated to certain tasks, medical tasks. But then all of a sudden there was a hold-up. We had an arrival of people from Brisbane, and they were delivering the first of a new lot of blood transfusion sets. Their blood transfusions to this time were given through, I don't know how they did it, they had a jug and they used to put the blood in there, and I never got involved in that. But the new one was a bottle and a line which was fed into the patient. And so it was the first of the new type of blood transfusion. So we were taught how to use this. And then just before we broke off, they said to me, and Mr. McDermott, come back here tomorrow morning, first thing. So I thought, that's funny, I'm out of about 4 or 5 of us, I was the only one that was asked to come back. But I found out the next day they were looking for somebody that had probably some talents, I don't know. But they were going to train me further in the use of this blood transfusion outfit. I was to learn how to use it. And this was over and above the doctors that were in our unit were there. And then I found out that the reason for this was they couldn't afford the doctors to go away and lose time. So they thought if they trained me, all the new doctors that came into the area, I could train them in the use of this blood transfusion outfit. Somebody said the war's over. We said, oh yeah. But yeah, it was fair dinkum. And we were right down at that area, so yeah, we knew that the war had ended, the Japanese had surrendered. But at that time, the Japanese always had the habit of sneaking in behind the Australian lines. And when the news came out, about 30 or 40 of the Japanese slipped in behind our lines. And they couldn't very well completely surrender till they got these fellas out the road because they were a danger to our crowd. So anyway, they notified them by wireless and by other means that there was a surrender. And finally they all came in, and only then could we really have a surrender. There was no big deal about it. We were just pleased to see it was over. And now all we had to look forward to, or what we looked forward to, was what they're going to do to send us home. There were 3 ships in. One was the River Fitzroy. We'll set up a bit of a riot outside here, and he said, when they leave, you can see if you can duck up. Yeah, that wasn't a very good choice, but it was the only choice that we could see. So we kept hounding the place till we went down one day. I said, we can hide you. It's up to you to stay quiet and keep out of trouble. And he said, you know that within the next hour or so, the provost will be searching the ship for you. I said, well, they know we're on, they've got our gear. We've got nothing else. And he said, well, they'll be searching for you. And he said, it's up to you if you can keep out of their way or whatever. So we climbed down through this little tiny manhole, right into the back where the propeller goes out the back, and the motor and all the rest of it's going, and found a spot in amongst these steel girders, and got down as low as we could. And he sang it, he said, can still see you, you have to get smaller than that, or move. So we moved around and we got a place where we felt we were at the best advantage. And we got down and stayed as low as we could. So there the following morning, we got out and we thought, oh, we'll have a look around Sydney, we've got a few hours. So we went down the road, and here was a restaurant not far away. And we were pretty hungry. We thought, well, this is important, this part, because we went into the restaurant and sat down, and a big lady came forward. She said, yeah, you want to order some breakfast? Yeah, if you don't mind. She said, you're the people that came on the River Fitzroy last night, aren't you? I said, yeah, we are. All right, just wait there, please. She went away and got another woman twice as big as she was. And she came over to her and she said, look, we know your story, and as far as we're concerned, you are welcome. It's lovely to see that you're home. And she said, everything you have here to eat today is free. She said, if you want to come back for dinner, tea, lunch, tomorrow's meals, that's quite all right with us. We'll feed you for the whole of the time you're here. And I said, what's going on here? Well, she said, the people in Sydney are so irate that they can't get their own kids home, and that you turn up. If they can get you home, they can get them home. What's the problem? Oh, I said, I don't know what the problem is, but I said, we just stowed away and came. Yeah, she says the same, they wouldn't all stow away. I said, anyway, meals are on us for as long as you stay here, and then when you finish, good luck to you. So we then had a meal, and we went and had a look around Sydney. We not only got fed, people in the street gave us money, they gave us cigarettes, they gave us the best of wishes, because everybody in Sydney seemed to be so happy to see at least somebody had come home from Bougainville.